Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're going to talk about this Moon Knight Omnibus from the UK. Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. I hope you're going to take a look at me with this kind of weird thing I found on Amazon. Us going through all of our different Moon Knight stories and things, I wanted to find a trade paperback of The Bottom, which is the storyline by Charlie Houston and David Finch. Miko Suyan comes in at the last 12 of the 12 or 13 issues of his initial first year. And so all that stuff is out of print. So I started looking around, and in one of the Facebook groups I'm in, they had, I think this fellow lives in the UK, he had a softcover omnibus or had ordered it from Amazon. I was like, what the hell is this? It says omnibus, right? Is it a true omnibus? No, it's not a hardcover. It's not oversized. It's not from Marvel, but it does come from the UK, just like my House of M trade that I got a couple weeks or months back from Panini Press. And for whatever reason, these little Panini Press books, you can order some of them off Amazon here in the United States, and they will ship them to you. So this is their version of the softcover omnibus. It's got the first 13 issues in the first annual of the Moon Knight series back from 2006. This is how I got introduced to Moon Knight, was from this series. So it's pretty thick. There's the spine. It's pretty cool. I don't know why this isn't in, this is David Finch, for crying out loud. I don't know why this isn't being printed or reprinted in a complete collection of any form right now with the TV show. I mean, we're getting a bunch of other Moon Knight collections. Why this one is not part of that, I don't know why. Very puzzling to me. David Finch is like a superstar artist, and this is one that I think would definitely sell based on the artwork alone. Seems to me like Marvel doesn't want to reprint some of the older stuff from the 2000s, the stuff that I fell in love with when I was in college. I remember hearing about David Finch. He was fresh off New Avengers with Bendis, and he was going to do this thing called Moon Knight, and I didn't know what Moon Knight was, so I read Moon Knight this way. I think I read the first year here at least once. But yeah, Frank D'Armata, I think, is doing the colors here. He's all over the place all the time, and his stuff is really kind of, if you read New Avengers Breakout, you'll recognize the colors, the inks. David Finch's artwork, very much in line with that era, right? So it's all rendered to hell, but it's not the painterly stuff that he's doing on covers or the super thick black lines when he's doing his own inks. I think this is probably Danny Mickey, if I had to guess. I know I've gotten some comments in some of the older videos about saying who did what, and shame on you for not looking, so let's go and look. How about that? Models, 3D models, number 13. All right, yeah, Danny Mickey on inks, number 1 through 8. There you have it. All right, fantastic. Glad I was correct. Yeah, here you go. Here's the cover. David Finch, Danny Mickey, Frank D'Armata on the colors. All right. And I know that because I know what each of these guys do, right? So, fun fact, when we first turned to this is Khonshu right here. This just generic looking Egyptian statue right here with the moon. That's Khonshu. That was Khonshu basically up until Warren Ellis wrote the Moon Knight series for Marvel Now and introduced the bird head skeleton thing that you see in the TV show and in the Moon Knight books from now on, right? Also, this doesn't have the Mr. Knight persona. It's just Moon Knight. It's just his regular costume. And here he's going up against Bushman. One thing to say, not that page. Moon Knight, this version of Moon Knight is very violent. This is the I'm going to beat the ever-loving crap out of you version of Moon Knight and leave you breathless, waiting to die kind of thing. This is where I first read the thing of I'm wearing white because I want the bad guys to know I'm coming. I want them to know how brutal I am, and I want them to see this thing of white coming at them and them to know exactly what's coming for them. Let there be no question as to the amount of beating they're going to receive when they see me coming for them. So this is a very, very brutal version of Moon Knight. You've got Taskmaster showing up in the middle of this first arc, and I can't really show some of this stuff because there's some missing faces here. Here's a werewolf. I think that's harkening back to his initial appearance in Werewolf by Night. Here's Taskmaster coming through a window. Man, this David Finch was on fire at this point in his career. And him bringing that level of notoriety to Moon Knight definitely did, like I would say, it definitely did something to Moon Knight. Like this run right here, I don't think Moon Knight had been in a series or had a series of his own since the 80s, I want to say. Maybe in the West Coast Avengers he was in there, but I don't know that in the 90s he had anything. Certainly I didn't hear of him until this series in 2006, I believe it first came out. And the notoriety that David Finch brought to it, Marvel was bringing over Charlie Huston, who is a novelist at the time. I think he's still a novelist, but this was like the first wave of book writers or novelists coming over to comics. You had Charlie Huston come over. You had Identity Crisis with Brad Meltzer. And then after these two guys, it just seemed like wave after wave after wave of novelists coming over to write comics. Some of them did very well. Some of them did not. Jodi Picoult writing Wonder Woman happened around the same era during this trend. She was a novelist, or is a novelist as well. So you had a bunch of them come over to do stuff. Now, David Finch does the first 8 or 9 issues, and then you had Miko Suyen take over. This is where it is. So it's very reminiscent of David Finch, but this is almost like Steven Segovia. Almost reminds me of his style, of Miko Suyen's style back here as well. But it's close enough that it would fool you. Had you not known that they were two different artists, maybe if you just figured they changed inkers or the colors changed, you might be fooled to think that this is still David Finch. It's not, but it's very close in terms of style and feel and everything else. And you still have Finch doing some of these covers. Oh, actually, no, that's Miko Suyen doing the covers. I'm wrong. It says right there, you silly goose. But yeah, very close to David Finch. So I like that they brought in another artist that filled the shoes. It's not like, it's not like they brought in a very cartoony artist to follow up David Finch during this same storyline, because it did happen in the middle of the second story arc here. So it does flow very nicely, and I do appreciate that. Another thing, the last thing in here is the annual. This is annual number 1, and so this came out right before Civil War, or I think it was coming out in the middle of Civil War. I think the covers to some of these later issues of the second half of the second arc had a casualties of war thing on it, as if they were coming out like right at the end of Civil War, beginning of the Initiative. So this annual deals with the fallout of Moon Knight being a hero during the Civil War, and he actually does register with the government. And I think I've read this annual, but I do remember that this is one of the better regarded stories out of that post-Civil War Initiative era, just this one annual. This is a different artist. I can't remember who it is, but very different style. More Alex Maleev here, I would say. Talk about people who have worked on Moon Knight before. But yeah, so if you can find this, definitely check it out. Or if you've seen, there's the Mooncopter right there. If you've seen the older version of the trades, check them out. But I think you can go, what I did on here was I searched Moon Knight Omnibus and found I think I found the hardcover listing for this Finch and Huston Omnibus, and then it had a softcover version on the Amazon page, and I just selected softcover, and then it changes the entire cover art because this is not that, and then the description actually changed too when you clicked softcover. So if you just search Moon Knight Omnibus softcover, should bring you this if you're looking to pick it up. It retails for £23.99, and I think I paid a similar amount in dollars, so it wasn't too bad, and it's shipped fast. I feel like it's shipped from the States somehow. So very interesting to find another one of these UK books on there, and it's got nice thick pages. The only downside is that when you get to a double page spread, there's definitely a lot of gutter loss. I think it might try, yeah, this one here. This is earlier in the book, but I was flipping through it, And there's definitely other places where you're going to lose some art and suffer depending on where the thing is. So, I mean, there's not a ton of splash pages. It's just be aware. It's a thicker book, so there's definitely some gutter loss when you do kind of split it up. I mean, it is a trade also after all, so it's not going to be able to pull it all the way open when you're looking at it. But for the most part, I think you'll be okay. So if you're interested in this, go and check it out. I'll see if I can find the Amazon listing and post it in the description, and you can pick up the rest of them from this video. So you're welcome, Amazon, or whoever's selling this. I think it's one of the independent sellers on Amazon that's putting out this, but at least in the US. So I don't know. I thought this was a really cool find, so I just want to showcase it and say, Marvel US, where the heck is this version? I feel like you could do this as a complete collection, volume 1, and then finish up Houston's run with a volume 2 fairly easily. I'm surprised that they're not out with the TV show with all the glut of Moon Knight stuff we're getting. So yeah, I thought this was cool. It's very fun. The David Finch art is to die for, at least for me, and very rough, brutal introduction to Moon Knight. But just remember, this is him before he kind of got reinvented with Warren Ellis and Jeff Lemire into the incarnation you're seeing on television. This is more of the original version of the character. There's still multiple personalities and all that kind of stuff, but I think it delves less into that, into more of just who Mark Spector is and him being the instrument of vengeance and being in the superhero world instead of the supernatural or the mind madness kind of stuff. So this is definitely a fun run, and I can't wait to reread it. So we will definitely do a review when I get around to it. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.